Well, this is our last online children's church lesson. It's hard to believe we've been doing this since April 5th. It has been a real roller coaster ride through the Old Testament as we learned about the Bible heroes that went before us. Here is the verse that started the series off. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders us and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Hebrews 12:1. Let's hear from Skip and Agnes again as they introduce us to Joseph. Wait, we seriously have to watch another one of those skipping videos? Here it is.
We're skipping to the Bible. We're skipping
Where?
to the Bible. We're skipping
Sure.
to the Bible. We're skipping.
Old Testament.
Nope. What do you want? After Jacob deceived Esau and took his father's blessing, he ran away from home and started his own family. God gave him a new name, Israel, and he had 12 sons. Hey, Agnes, can you imagine if you had 12 brothers and not just one?
Hey, over here. Sick! Get away from me, you horrible creatures!
And 12.
What a
Dream
nightmare.
come true. But out of all of Israel's sons, Joseph was his favorite. Jacob loved him so much that he gave him a beautiful robe of many colors. When his brothers saw it, they were jealous. So one day, when the brothers were all alone in a field, they took Joseph and they sold him as a slave.
Man, talk about brotherly love. What about their dad? Wasn't he mad?
You're not gonna like this.
What?
They took Joseph's brand new robe, put animal blood on it, and they told their dad that Joseph had been eaten by wild beasts.
What? That's terrible!
Yeah, but he wasn't actually eaten by wild beasts, remember? He was just sold into slavery, never to see his family again.
Yeah, that's still really bad.
Well, just look on the bright side. Anyways, Joseph was carried off to Egypt, where he became slave to a very powerful man. There was a misunderstanding, and Joseph got thrown into jail.
Things just keep getting worse for old Joseph.
While he was in jail, Joseph met this guy, the Pharaoh's cupbearer.
Cupbearer? You mean that Pharaoh was so lazy he couldn't even carry his own cup?
No. See, actually, a cupbearer was the guy who drank out of Pharaoh's cup first to make sure there wasn't any poison in it.
And if there was poison in it?
I guess it's time to find a new cupbearer.
Whoa! Sorry, I mean, the way you said it made it sound
Okay,
like...
yeah. Why would I joke about that? Okay, Craig, all done. Okay. Anyways, this cupbearer had a crazy dream that he couldn't figure out. But when he told Joseph about his dream, he knew exactly what it meant. He predicted that the cupbearer would be free from prison in just 3 days. And guess what? It happened!
Wow! So did that guy help Joseph get out of jail?
Not really, it looks like he forgot about him.
The nerve of some people.
But wait! 2 years later, the Pharaoh had a dream he couldn't figure out. That's when the cupbearer remembered Joseph. They got him out of prison, and Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream. He predicted that there would be 7 years of wealth and prosperity in the land, followed by 7 years of famine.
7 years of famine? Sheesh! They better start stocking their cabinets.
Well, that's what they did, and Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of managing the whole country of Egypt. For the next 7 years, Joseph stored up all kinds of food for Egypt. Then, the famine came. There was no food anywhere, and the drought stretched all the way up to where Joseph's family was living. When they heard that Egypt had food, Joseph's brothers set out to see if they could get some.
Oh boy, are they gonna be in for a surprise? I'll bet Joseph is gonna get a little payback when he sees them.
Well, actually, it looks like Joseph was super happy to see his brothers again. He told them all about what God had done for him, and he invited the whole family to come live with him in Egypt. He got to see his father again, and Joseph knew that what his brothers had meant for evil, God meant for good.
Wait, so that whole thing was part of God's plan from the beginning?
Well, yeah, if Joseph's brothers hadn't sold him, he wouldn't have been able to provide food to keep his family alive. That's how God kept his promise that was made all the way back in the beginning, which was given to Abraham, then to Isaac, then to all the people of Israel. Now their family was safe to grow. Oh, wow. Looks like we're about to take a little bit of a leap here, Agnes.
A leap? How big of a leap?
Say about 400 years. Hey, Craig, can we get like a time warp sound effect thing going?
You got it, Skip.
Hey buddy, totally redeemed yourself. Whoa!
Here's Mrs. Wheeler with the story of Joseph, whose life was like a roller coaster ride for real. After the lesson, get ready for the Bible aerobics.
Good morning, friends. I'm so happy to be back again this week teaching you. I'm so excited about this story because it is my favorite. Now, I have to give you a warning. It's not full of warm, fuzzy feelings. It's more like a roller coaster ride. Now, do you think that it's my favorite because I really like roller coasters? It's not. I don't like roller coasters at all. I'm more of a lazy river kind of girl. But the reason I love this story is because the character chooses joy over and over and over again. Even when things are really bad, he still chooses joy. Choose joy is my favorite phrase. I say it a lot, and I really, really, really try hard to live it. So here's some proof from my life that it's my favorite. My sister got me this cup for my birthday. It says, "Today I choose joy." My friend bought me this shirt that says, "Choose joy," and I love to wear it. And my cousin helped me paint this sign that hangs in my bathroom that says, "Today I choose joy." So really, really, I love to choose joy. And this character in our Bible story, he chose joy when I don't know of any other person who could. So listen to the things that happened on this roller coaster ride that allowed our character. Do you know who I'm talking about yet? Yeah, it's Joseph. Joseph chose joy. So when we start our story, the roller coaster's kind of high. So Joseph was his dad's favorite. Now, we're not supposed to have favorites, right? And I'm sure that none of us really do. But in the Bible, we're actually told in the book of Genesis that Joseph was really, really, really loved by his dad named Jacob. He loved him so much, he gave him a special coat, and he treated him so kindly. And his brothers, Joseph's brothers, watched. And what do you think they thought about that? They were jealous, right? They didn't like the way that their brother was favored. They didn't like it at all. And they really weren't very nice guys. So they came up with some pretty yucky plans to get rid of their brother. Here's the first one. So we're up on our high part of our roller coaster, right? But we're going to take a big drop because those stinking brothers took Joseph and threw him in a pit to die. They didn't care at all. This is the part of the story that makes me a little bit crazy every time I read it. The Bible says that they threw him in a pit and then they sat down and ate lunch like they had a picnic while their little brother's in the pit. It makes me crazy. But Joseph still chose joy. He's in that pit, and I think he's probably praying and really hoping that those brothers will scoop him out. And they did. But we're not climbing up that roller coaster yet. They scooped him out because they had a better plan in their mind. They thought, hey, we might as well make some money off this kid. And they saw some traders coming by, and they sold their brother. Now, we joke sometimes about, I'd sell my sister or I'd trade my brother. But this was real, right? Like they really sold their brother. and he became a slave in Egypt. So we're really, really, really down low on our roller coaster ride right now, right? But here's Joseph choosing joy. And also, as you can see through this whole story, God is keeping his eye very closely on Joseph, and he's making sure he's okay. So Joseph was bought by a man named Potiphar, and Joseph worked in his house. And Joseph chose to work with a happy heart and to do his very best. And Potiphar noticed that, and he was really pleased, and he really grew to trust Joseph. And he said, I'm going to make you in charge of my whole house. So Joseph got a really big promotion, right? So he's taking care of Potiphar's house. Oh man, we are up high on that roller coaster ride now, right? Well, brace yourselves. Hold on to that bar because we're going to go down again. The Bible says that Joseph was a really good-looking guy, like handsome, strong, big muscles. And Potiphar had a wife. I like to call her Mrs. Potiphar. Well, Mrs. Potiphar, she did not really make great choices, and she noticed that Joseph was handsome and strong, and she probably liked his leadership qualities, and she decided she'd like to smooch him. Now, that's a big no-no because she's married, right? But she's saying, I'm going to do it anyway. So she said to Joseph, hey, come here. I want to smooch you. And Joseph said, no way. No way, Mrs. Potiphar. First of all, you are married. I would never betray your husband that way. And second, I would never dishonor God that way. And so Joseph said, no way. And he got out. Well, that made Mrs. Potiphar really mad. And she made up a terrible lie about Joseph, and he was thrown into jail. So we are way down low on that roller coaster ride. Here's the thing. Joseph is still choosing joy. So while he's in jail, he's a prisoner, but he has a joyful heart. He's working hard. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And the man in charge of the prison notices that and says, Joseph, I'm going to put you in charge of all the prisoners. You are doing a great job. So we're kind of going back up that ride again, right? He's still in jail, but God is blessing him. So while he was in jail, he had the chance to help some other prisoners who had some weird dreams. And God gave Joseph the ability to tell them what those dreams meant. So we're up on a roller coaster, right? And so those men had the chance to repay Joseph's kindness. One of them was released and was able to go back to his job, but he forgot. He forgot what Joseph had done for him until about a couple years later, the Pharaoh, so he's the man in charge of all of Egypt, the Pharaoh had some really weird dreams himself. And he was asking everybody, what do these dreams mean? And nobody could help him. The smartest people in the whole country could not help him. And that prisoner that Joseph had helped remembered. He remembered that Joseph had helped him. So the Pharaoh calls Joseph to come out of jail. So he gets all cleaned up, gets some new clothes, and he goes to the Pharaoh. And God helps him again. He helps him tell the Pharaoh what his dreams meant. And so now we are really high on that roller coaster because the Pharaoh is so excited and so thankful that he puts Joseph in charge of the country of Egypt. So he is second in command. There's Pharaoh and then there's Joseph, because this is what's going on. This is what Joseph told the Pharaoh his dreams meant. There were going to be some years of lots of good growth. And then when that was over, there were going to be some years of famine in the land. There wouldn't be enough food for people to eat. So Joseph helped the Pharaoh make a plan for when the crops are growing, we're going to cut them all down, gather them up, and store them so that when the crops don't grow again, we have storage of food that we can feed our people. And that's what Joseph's job was. Anyone that needed food had to answer to Joseph, and then Joseph would give them the food that they needed. Now, this famine, not having enough food to eat, stretched far and wide. And do you know who was feeling hungry? Joseph's brothers. Those stinkers who had sold him all those years ago, they were feeling hungry. And their dad found out that there was food available in Egypt. So he said, go to Egypt and buy some food for us. And so they journeyed to Egypt. So where are we on this roller coaster ride now? Kind of in the middle, right? So it kind of stinks that the brothers are in a position where they need some help. But it's kind of cool, too, that Joseph is in a position where he's going to have to make a choice. So the brothers come to Egypt, and when they have to go before Joseph, they do not recognize him. But Joseph recognizes them, and he has to make a choice. Is he going to choose joy, or is he going to choose anger? That would be really, really hard. That's a hard decision. But think about how Joseph has lived his life already. He keeps choosing joy, right? And he did it again, friends. He chose joy. He forgave his brothers, and because of that, his whole family was able to eat, and they were even able to come and live with him in a very special place just for them. That's because Joseph chose joy even when things were awful, and God blessed him. Now, you know he couldn't have done that without God's help, right? That's the truth. And here's the thing. I love to choose joy, but I can't do it by myself. And I have to tell you, I don't always do it well. Mr. Wheeler would tell you that, and my kids would tell you that. Sometimes I don't choose joy. Here's the good thing. When you mess up, you can say you're sorry and start all over again. But the only way to do it well is to do it with a happy heart and to ask God. Now, here's my challenge to you. As soon as you're finished watching church, I'll bet you someone in your house is going to annoy you or get on your nerves. Like probably as soon as you turn off the TV, it's going to happen if they aren't already doing it now. And you have a choice to make, right? Are you going to choose to retaliate, to tattle, or to knock them down, get out of their way? Or are you going to choose to be kind and forgive them? Now, you guys have probably seen Buddy the Elf, right? He's one of our favorites. And one of the things that he says is my favorite line after Choose Joy. He says, I love to smile. Smiling's my favorite. And that's true for me too. I love to smile. It's so easy to just put a smile on your face. And that's the first step. If your brother or sister or your mom and dad are annoying you, just try a smile first. If Buddy the Elf can do it, if Joseph can do it, you can do it. Just put a smile on your face and choose joy. Thanks for listening, friends. I'll see you again soon.
Thumbs up. Way back in the beginning, there was God, and he made the world, and he made two people, Adam and Eve, and he gave them a choice to obey or to disobey. They chose to disobey, and that was called the fall. That's when sin came into the world. But God had an idea. He would send part of himself in the form of a baby, and his name was Jesus. He died on the cross, was put into the tomb. On the third day, he rose from the dead. He broke the power of sin and death, and he was seen alive by many people. Then he went up into heaven. But God had another idea. He would send part of himself, called the Holy Spirit, who could be everywhere and even live in your heart. He stamps us with a special invisible seal. That means we're part of God's family until Jesus comes again from heaven and we meet him in the air to be with him forever and ever and ever. Great job.
Well, that's all, folks. We'll be getting totally back to regular children's church at Brack, starting next week. Remember to keep running the race for Jesus and choose joy.